What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Strength Solutions Podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Also, our website is strengthsolutionspodcast.com. We have free blogs, free guides, and programs for purchase. Our email is strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com. That's where you can leave us fitness questions and if you want us to go over a topic for you. Then on social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, we're Strength Solutions Podcast. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
And I nailed that opener for the first time ever after a million tries.
It's all right. You know, we all go to flow sometimes.
It must be, huh? We talked, I think, about last week a little bit of like someone coming up to me and they're like, I'm taking this certain supplement. And in reality, it was extra 50 grams of protein that helped build the muscle. Remember, we talked about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I do want to talk about supplements that I feel are the most necessary today and pretty vital for people. And the first supplement for me is vitamin D.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know what vitamin D I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. The good.
See, I knew you were a perv, bro. You're superb. That's all you think about. You think about the D all night.
All day, every day.
Good old Sunny D. Oh, that's orange juice.
Which is gross. I hate Sunny D, man.
What is that? Straight like sugar and fructose?
It's not orange juice. That's
It's orange flavored.
Yeah.
So vitamin D, because, dude, literally like we're right now inside with the fake lights hitting us. And I've gotten to the point where I can tell that when I step out in the sun and I just feel better. Yeah. And they've done studies in the past where the side that faces the sun early in the morning and the patients have windows that are sick kids, sick people, they tend to heal 1 to 2 days faster than the other group.
Whoa.
And so vitamin D is vital. Vitamin D is almost seen like a hormone to people.
Wow. Yeah. And like you said, with the more like sedentary lifestyle, indoor kind of environment and stuff like that, working in offices even us, we work in gyms and it's still like we're inside all day, and a lot of gyms don't have like windows or anything like that. And so getting vitamin D is important. Now, I will say that the way I kind of look at vitamin D supplements is like, it's like loading your body with vitamin D, but you still need to activate it, right? There's still like a little bit of needing to be outside, right? You still need the sunlight to activate it. Now, I also know that there's different ones. Now, I don't know if you know the difference between them. Like there's vitamin D, D3.
Yeah, D3 and K2 typically you take together.
Okay. And I know one of them is like already activated version and the other one like isn't. But yes.
Most people take D3. Yeah.
Is D3 the one that's already
You're the one that likes the 3Ds in your face.
Is D3 the one that's already like activated? Yeah. Okay, I see. Got it.
So typically you want to take a D3 K2 combo, right?
Got
it. They work kind of in unison and supplement. But also this is where I tell people get your blood work. Because you don't want to go too high in vitamin D either, right? Because it is fat soluble. Yeah. It's a fat soluble vitamin. You could have too much vitamin D.
Right.
That's Nathaniel's problem. He gets too much D.
Too much D.
All right. So the second supplement is omega-3s. And the reason for omega-3s for me is how many of us actually eat fish? And a lot of our foods have omega-6s.
Yes. And you need to have a ratio of the two, omega-3s to omega-6s.
And typically people are off.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not eating grass-fed meat too, the ratios could be off because of that as well. If you look at omega-3 versus omega-6 profile of a grass-fed versus a conventional fed beef, you can see the difference.
Interesting. And yeah, like you said, especially, here, unless you're in an area where seafood is like a part of the culture, and you're eating it consistently, eating it once a month or something like that, or isn't really going to cut it. And we're also not talking about like, going and getting like a fried fish or something like that.
Oh, do you love my fried fish? Give me that fried fish.
So I take a fish oil supplement, and it has like DHA and all other stuff in it too. I was recommended by our hormone specialist. And it's weird. I can't really put my finger on the difference of how I feel, but I do feel better taking it. Like,
I feel like my skin feels better.
for me, it was like a sense of like clarity almost. Like I got like,
yeah, there's a lot of like, there's studies where they do omega-3 supplementations in prisons and people are happier.
Yeah.
Clarity.
It's so like weird. Yeah. It was like such a subtle change, but there was definitely a difference when I started taking it. And so it is part of my morning routine.
So do you stick that one in your butt?
Yeah. It's not a suppository, but I take it like that anyway.
This episode's going off the air already. All right. So the next one is another vitamin that people are typically low on, and it has to do because our soil has changed and different things like that, which is magnesium. I take magnesium glycinate every night for myself. Helps calm the body, but there's different forms of magnesium you may need as well. But typically people are low in magnesium. Yeah,
there's magnesium glycinate, magnesium oxinate. Yeah.
Oxinate, threonate.
And then
citrate.
Well, don't take that one. That'll make you poopy.
Sometimes you got to go. I take it for fun. Play a game
just to do it
for fire.
See how long you can hold it.
How long can I hold it? Just,
yeah, you were the one who gave me the magnesium supplement that first time. And I liked it because you didn't tell me what it was. I had no idea. Yeah. And you were just like, take it before bed. And man, that week that I took it, I was like, oh shit, like whatever this is, I need some more of that. So
it was actually steroids, guys.
I don't take magnesium as much anymore because I kind of started using it more as like an anxiety help. I noticed that, like you said, it kind of calmed me down a little bit and things like that. Now I take an anxiety medication, so I just do that. But using it at the time, especially for like getting to sleep, helped so much, man. And I just felt like when I woke up, I was actually rested as opposed to not.
Also feel like cycling sometimes off of it, like a couple of days and going back on.
Oh, yeah.
A big benefit. And then sometimes I like playing with it during the middle of the day. Like you're saying the anxiety feeling or like you're feeling like your body feels tight.
Yeah.
Take it. It'll kind of relax.
It just kind of chills you out. Yeah. I almost use it like, the only term I know is PRN, but like as needed. Like, if I'm having especially like, today sucks. I'll be like, pop one, and I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good now.
It's got to be popping pills.
Yeah. Suppository.
Yeah. That's your favorite way you can do it.
You got to do it.
It goes in the bloodstream like that. So the next two are simply ones that we talk about all the time, and it's because people just tend to be deficient in it. And the first one's protein. And people are just deficient in protein. It's hard to get the amount that you need. Most people are pretty short in this.
Oh yeah.
I literally had someone who's randy today and they're like, well, I take a shake and then have a meal. And I'm like, man, that's probably like 50, 60 grams of protein.
Oh, and that's all they do.
And yeah.
Damn.
And it's an older individual. And I explained to him where they should do this in PT and they should do this as doctors as well for recovery purposes, is making sure your protein intake is high enough.
Yeah.
Because if I work you out too hard during your workout session and then you're not feeding yourself the tools to recover, then you're going to have a big issue. You got to have the building blocks.
Especially in terms of like Legos. Especially in terms, like you said, like in PT or like recovering from surgery or like tears.
I don't understand why they don't talk about it.
Dude, what's funny is like, I know that the doctors I worked with would talk about it, the two that I'm talking about, but it's like a lot of the times, dude, like it was never mentioned once, in terms of nutrition in a PT clinic, it's very rarely talked about.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. And it's like, why are we not telling these people to at least get like an RDA, amount at least? Because I bet most people are fall below that, know? And so, yeah, I'll have clients, especially when I first meet them, I'm like, hey, give me like a normal day of you eating, just tell me what you ate yesterday. And I'll try and estimate how much, protein you get in. And it's always like 50, 60, and I'm like, oh, God damn it.
Okay. Yeah. I still don't understand, man. There's still doctors who after surgery don't want them to go to PT. I still don't understand
man,
this.
Dude. I mean, we used to wheel people in all fucked up still on meds and be like, start moving your leg.
The last supplement, it's getting a lot of publicity right now. And there's like this second wave. Creatine has been around forever. It's for most people.
Yeah.
It benefits you, but you have to work out for it to benefit you muscularly. But there's also brain derived effects. And this is where it's getting very popular right now.
The second wave.
So the first wave is they believe 5 grams of creatine actually like saturates muscle. You have to get 10 or higher grams of supplementation of creatine to affect the brain. Now, some people cannot digest creatine as well as others. So they tell people to split 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening, or 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening. And it got really popular because the guy who ran the Masters, Rory McIlroy, he was talking about it to another golfer like on right next to each other, and they heard him talk about creatine, and he takes 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening, pretty much. Not those exact words, but something like that.
Yeah.
And creatine is just becoming popular again.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and finding out these different ways to kind of experiment with it. And creatine is one that I like a lot. I can tell a difference whenever I start taking it consistently. And again, I think it's one of those things that most people need to understand. It's not like a pre-workout, right? Like it doesn't make you feel all crazy or go wild or anything like that. It's very subtle. It takes time, but it really does increase your performance and like muscle density and so much. And then now with advents of like adding it for brain, mental, effects and things like that, I wonder what it's going to be then.
Yeah, I literally had a conversation with my dad yesterday because he was like, "Oh, I heard creatine's good" or whatever. I'm like, "Damn, man, media gets people." Right?
It's like, how did you even find out about
I've told you that like a year ago.
Yeah.
And then so he was like, he got it, and he was like, "Well, I heard there's like a loading phase that you have to like load so many on there." And I was like, "Okay, look, you can do that, but I prefer you just to do 5 grams every day for a little while because we don't know what type of gut distress you may have."
Yeah.
I would rather go smaller than let's start with 15 grams today, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to oversaturate you, and then you're going to have gut distress, and you're like, "Oh, creatine doesn't work."
I definitely have had clients who have taken creatine, even 5 grams a day, and have had like adverse effects, and it's like, okay, then, it just ain't for you, like we're just not going to do it, or we're going to take way less or whatever it is. But at that point, I'm like, it's just not worth it. We're doing fine without it. But yeah, the loading phase,
but it's very rare, right?
Like I've been doing this for almost like 10 years now. And it's like, I've had one person do it, but like you said, yeah, I also kind of recommend people to, they don't really need to do the loading phase if they don't want to. It's just
start small.
Just start taking it. Yeah. Just be consistent with it. And it might take a little bit longer, but it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah. I know we talked about supplements, but I do want to go with these foods that I think are like very superfood for people.
Yeah.
Eat easily to get a lot of vitamins or minerals, right? And so some of them I have on here is like beef and eggs, right? And they've been bastardized because they had a high fat content for years, and now they're coming back in style because it's all cool to be carnivore. Right?
Yeah.
Look, these have a lot of minerals, and if you look out throughout history, when did people get taller? If you look at that, and then when did our brains become bigger? Is the introduction of like being able to have cattle and meat and fish quite often.
You mean because creatine maybe?
Is beef and creatine together?
It is.
Oh, geez. It's crazy how it works together, right?
It is, yep.
And then like another superfood. This is something I think is the best carbohydrate for most people, and it's white rice. It's very easily digestible, easy to use. The fact that it was like, oh, you can't have white rice and it raises it's like, okay, how much? What do you need? Did you work out? Did you not work out? That's how you eat rice.
Right.
It's funny because we're like, oh, rice makes you fat. Well, I guess the Japanese should be heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They eat a lot of white rice. And the Chinese, right? Like,
yeah, literally all the Asian cultures that don't have anybody
they have
that's
so
overweight.
much rice. Right?
Yeah.
But they're not. It's like overconsumption of calories at the end of the day.
That's all it is.
And then as far as the fat goes, a lot of your oils would do just fine versus thinking about nuts and seeds, because a lot of nuts and seeds have protective coating stuff like histamine intolerance and things like that. That's where I would stick with like olive oil and those type of things for your superfoods.
Olive oil, avocado.
You're an avocado toast guy.
Hell no.
Give me the beef.
I do like avocado though.
Yeah. I sent you this video, dude, and I think we need to go back to it. No, just kidding. There's like an ancient torture device. It was a wheel.
Yeah.
And then you would tie this person to the wheel, and you would be at the top of a hill and roll them down. And so they're constantly rolling, hitting their head on the ground.
Brutal, man. Yeah.
Dude, that was so brutal.
It's so many different like The way that we used to be. Yeah, you know, I say used to be, but maybe now we're still the same in a different way. But
we're
it's
just
it's
more
like
ethical,
more subtle. Yeah, I don't know. But it's like I've heard stories of like where they would essentially like crush you under rocks. They would like put stones on you and just like load it and load it and load it until like slow. Yeah. All these things are like slow death. Dying.
Or like when they had the horse and they would pull you apart, right?
Yeah, that. Or like there's one,
I guess the guillotine was the first one that really did it pretty fast.
I guess
unless the blade got stuck.
Or when they would like do hangings and things like that. Yeah, the blade got stuck. Yeah. Gotta start over. There's one that I know of, it's called the Heretic's Fork. And it was like, I guess if you were like a blasphemer, like religiously, they would like put it under. It was like this strap that would go underneath your chin and like on top of your like clavicle, and it was like forked on both ends, so you could never put your head down. And if you did, then you would like, you know, like stab yourself through. So like you were just like forced to like look up. Right?
I would just lay down.
Cheating.
Dang, that's wild. It's just wild.
Yeah.
I just think human nature is like very brutal.
It is, you know, it is. And have you ever seen a show called Black Mirror?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Okay. There's one that they like a new season just came out, and there was one episode that kind of
it's the mirror black.
It sort of like explores the ideas of like humanity and like why we're always bent on like self-destruction and trying to do stuff. It's interesting. It's a good episode.
Talk about self-destruction. Elon Musk.
Uh-oh.
You know, I'm not really saying like he's self-destructed, but you know what's crazy to me? Just 6 years ago, someone pointed out that he was bragging about having the highest rated LGBTQ ratings and bragging about being environmentally friendly. And now he's on the other extreme 6 years later.
Have you seen that?
What does that tell you about a person?
Yeah, it tells you that they're disingenuous, right? Or they're just for the side that's giving them the most attention or whatever it is. Did you see that he was like quoted as saying that he wanted to leave politics because he's tired of all of the like attacks and stuff like that?
He's tired of losing so much money.
Yeah, that too, right? And it's like, bro, you chose to bat with the wrong team, man, or whatever team you chose is just not working out, you know?
My problem with politics right now, I'm going to tell you my problem with politics, comes down to two things. The first one is when are we going to tell people, it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, your person is wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's what we need to get back to, right? Whether it's Trump or Nancy Pelosi or whatever it is, AOC, wrong is wrong at the end of the day.
Did you see that Texas was like one of the first states to move to like have a motion of impeachment of President Donald Trump?
Huh?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
What?
Yeah. You got to look it up. I should have sent it to you.
Oh my God.
It was like a video, but people were like, fucking Texas? You sure about that? It's like, dude, you know, but I think it goes to your point of saying like, when someone's wrong, man, it's just wrong.
Hey, if they hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And then the second one is, so like in relationships, there's like 4 horsemen of like why your relationship won't work. There's criticism, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And the last one's contempt. Right. And what people don't realize is what we're creating is a system of contempt. And Republicans are doing it by like saying, oh, they're liberal, woke people, yada, yada. So you're assuming each liberal person's mean or they don't get life and stuff like that. On the inverse, you're saying all Republicans are MAGA, right? And that they don't get it. When in reality, they're humans, right? So like I personally know this person who's conservative, who's against the school vouchers. But because they're Republican, I bet you people think that that person is for the voucher.
Right.
Right. And the problem is we create this contempt of evilness. So I'm going to bring it back to even like Nazi Germany. What they did with Germans that are Nazi is they created the Jews as people who had malintent in their heart.
Yeah.
And they were like, and the way they spoke of them was they were vermin. They were rats.
They dehumanized.
Right, they humanize them, right?
Yeah.
And so they couldn't be good. And so vice versa, like all Nazis were bad, right? There's Nazis who probably were just in there because they were scared, but they were good people and it had forced to do it. So we got to look at the complexities of life. And this is what happens in relationships. So for example, if I was like talking to Amanda and I was like, oh, there you go again. Yeah. I'm showing to her that I don't think she can have anything from love back to me. In reality, she's coming from love when she's saying it. And so I think that's what's going on a lot in this politics kind of things like that.
Yeah.
And when we're in a relationship, That's one way, right? The next way is like the criticism, right? How we're criticizing Republicans, we're criticizing Democrats back and forward, and you don't hear each other.
And especially when you criticize everything and never give credit, like whenever something good happens, right? Yeah, it's like, because then again, you only look at the bad side.
So maybe these tariffs work and Trump does a good job negotiating, right?
Maybe there's a bigger idea.
You don't know, right?
Yeah,
like maybe it works. Maybe you're like suffering for a little bit, but you got to give the guy credit if he does it, right? Or the administration. I'm going to say him because it wasn't just him. Credit if they do it, right? And then you got like people being defensiveness. No, it wasn't my fault, right? And you hear that all the time. And then the last one is stonewalling, right? Like, oh, I'm just not going to do anything.
Yeah, or I'm just going to ignore you, not listen to it. Yeah.
And if you bring it back to relationships, and this is what's going on right now, and these 4 horsemen were by the Gottman Institute. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Dude, they've saved so many marriages by just even the contempt one and showing a partner like, oh, you're doing contempt right now.
Contemptuous. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I guess with that, you'd like add in like resentment and stuff like that as well. And it's like, yeah, man, that stuff goes a long way. So, I've recently have like talked to people and they're like, well, why is it so hard to build muscle? And I was thinking about this lately. And, a big part of it is, and I think this is why I struggled early on. Now I don't give a fuck. Right. I have zero fucks. Is you may gain a little bit of weight. People are scared to gain weight because their whole life they're taught you're this weight, this weight, this weight. But in reality, sometimes you're meant to go up and then you go down, you go up, down. But it's just like weight loss, right? So weight loss is like a up and down, and there's not this perfect, slide down. It's like a stair step approach. There's a stair step way to go up too, as well. Yes.
I think that's a big part.
Yeah. I think too many people are worried about like just blowing up, right, so to speak, or just going straight for it. In all honesty, I think putting on weight is just as hard as it is to lose it, especially if you're someone who's like a hard gainer.
Good weight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me say that. Good weight is definitely difficult to do, especially for someone who struggles with trying to put on muscle, right? Like if they already have a high metabolism or they're already eating a lot, right? And then you go and tell them like, hey, you got to eat more. Like, that's tough to do. But like you said, you kind of slowly build that process up in the same way that you would slowly lose the weight coming down.
Yeah. I just think people need to like chill out. Like you're not going to look perfect all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of these Instagram people, like they're starting to like realize, you're starting to realize they take trendy ball.
Oh yeah.
All these anabolics. And you're like, oh, this is why it's not feasible to look that way all the time.
Yeah. And I think in a way it's good that most people are becoming more comfortable talking about it, because then it kind of reduces the like illusion, right? That everybody should look this way or everyone should look like that.
I'm glad. I think the more honesty in society and the more open you can talk about things, the better. So like even these people who are in polyamorous relationships or gay or whatever it is, being able to talk about it and show from their point of view what it is. I think in society, we just care too much. Like I live like this, so you should live like this too. And I think that's the problem. And I was talking about this with someone earlier today in the fitness space is I lift like this, you should lift like this too. In reality, if you want to do the transverse, you want to do functional patterns, I have no problem.
Yeah.
But don't tell me functional patterns is the best at building muscle.
Yes.
Bodybuilder, you're going to build muscle, but there's, transverse plane, you're not going to do as well. Like each thing has its modality and way to go. Now, if you want to do a little bit of everything, like if you're an average person, that's probably what I would recommend for longevity purposes the most. Because sometimes you need to build muscle. Sometimes you need to be strong and transverse. Sometimes you need to be able to lift things overhead. Sometimes you need to be able to squat and be able to twist. You might have to jump and then catch yourself jumping. That's when people break their hips. So power is not off the table. Even if you're a little bit older, you may have to learn how to decelerate when you're older.
Oh yeah.
So before we go to studies and stuff, dude, I'm pretty proud of myself.
What's that? Why?
My daughter's getting into R&B hardcore.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Like what artists?
Well, she had Cisco, Tyrese. I showed her a Trey song. But they're all like clean stuff. And it's all about like, and I think this is going to make a comeback. Hear me right now. R&B is going to make a comeback.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
It's going to make a comeback. And it's going to be guys leading the comeback.
Oh, okay.
And romanticizing women again.
You know what's funny is
that's Thomas in the house.
Camille and I often like make jokes because she likes R&B, right? So she knows like the artists
because she's black. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's probably a big reason why. Let's not pretend.
Okay, for your birthday, we're doing karaoke, and I'm gonna sing a song.
It better be R&B, bro.
It's gonna be R&B.
I want you to take your shirt off. The shower. Yeah. And it's funny because we always say, like, what happened to songs about, like, you know, guys crying in the rain, you know, for just a little bit of the girl, you know, like whatever.
It's gonna come back. I think the movement is with Bumble and everything. I think we're finding out women want to be romanticized. They don't want to go first.
Right.
I think there's gonna be a movement back where men are trying to serenade women again.
Yeah.
Right. Like
to court them.
Right. Like, oh, do this and stuff like that. And, you know, and I already see it in my daughter. Like she wants the boy to like
do it. Yeah.
And then I think that's why there's such a move to like this traditional lifestyle. Like I want a guy who did this, like women empowerment, like that stuff's starting to be like not over. But again, this is where I still, if there's a woman who wants to live that lifestyle,
do it.
She should be able to live that lifestyle. Yeah. If she wants to be a traditional woman, she should be able to treat traditional. If she wants to be 50-50 kind of person, be a 50-50 kind of person. But don't tell everybody what to do and how they should live their lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
don't judge other people, right?
But I was listening to this R&B, right? And I was listening to my car on the way here. And I was like, dang, I can't show her that song. I can't show her that song.
Skip.
I was like, okay. That's all like a panty dropper or something like that. Like, whoa. Oh my God. Whoops, skip this song. But it was, you know what's crazy? A lot of the sex songs that I enjoyed were about pleasing the women. It wasn't even, and it was about pleasing the woman, but the man saying how good he was at pleasing the woman.
Like that was what was like making you big. Like,
yeah.
I can. That's the thing to gloat about.
Which is what women want, right? Yeah. They want you to be able to be good.
Which is funny because you're right. Because now you listen to music and it's all about the guy saying, like, look at all of my bitches. Like,
and I'm going to nut it.
Yeah.
It's about
disrespectful.
Me.
Yeah.
That's coming back.
I'm going to be honest. That's like one of the reasons why I can't listen to R&B because I'm just like, it's the same goddamn topic 800 times.
No, there's different songs.
Like about what?
Dude, about life. And dude, you must be listening to the same song. Because like Brian McKnight used to talk about life. And things like that. Like there's different types of form of R&B. Yeah. You're just a hater. Death metal hater. All death metal is the same.
I'm not going to pretend. Yeah, there's a lot of it that's the same. I think the reason I like metal and stuff like that is because sometimes it's like, you're angry. It's almost like fantastical.
It's because you come from a divorced parent.
Yeah, it's because I'm just pissed.
Fucking parents are divorced.
And every time I hear about love, it just pisses me off. That's why I don't like R&B. Yeah.
I wonder if it does play a role because I grew up with two parents and you didn't.
Interesting. Well, look, I'm not gonna say anything, but it's like Camille likes R&B, and her parents were not together, and it was not good.
But she's black.
Fuck, you're right. Damn it.
No, I mean, like
experiment. We need to do a study.
A variable.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you gotta take out all the people who are darker skin.
We need to go talk to a white person. Yeah. Do you like R&B?
It's probably gonna be country. They like sad songs.
Fuck, you're right. Damn, music is so weird, dude.
You know what I love about music though? It always tends to like tell you the moment of time.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Like I remember talking to our friend, he's a choir teacher, and he was talking about how you could tell by tempo what are times of war versus times of like love, times of like just pure enjoyment.
Yeah.
And you just look back at our generation, the way we grew up, well, I guess more mine than yours because there's a gap, is when I grew up, it was all party music.
Just party, have fun.
Party, have fun.
Yeah.
And then I think like right when you became like in your 20s, it became depressive.
Yeah.
And that was like the start of the recession, of the housing recession and stuff like that. And then it started getting a little fun again. Yeah. And then now it's becoming depressive and sad again.
How interesting.
And
music is such like a human experience, man. I love it.
This is why we have to study the fine arts still.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I think.
All right, man. Get your karaoke song ready.
All right. Don't worry. just call me Trey Songz Edwin.
If your shirt doesn't come off, I'm gonna be pissed.
Hey, if I give the wife a lap dance, turn away.
No, I'm gonna say, everybody look. You'll see how it's done.
See, this is what you need to be doing to Camille right here.
He's about to give you some vitamin D.
Back back to the top. No, see? That's why she's so healthy.
Yeah.
All right. Study number 2, or study number 1.
Yeah.
A new explanation for muscle memory found in muscle proteins. So in this study, researchers investigated the quantities of thousands of muscle proteins and found a possible new explanation for muscle memory. A study showed for the first time the muscles remember training at a protein level. The memory trace of previous resistance training persists in muscle proteins for over 2 months.
Damn, dude.
So muscle memory is getting proved by science, not just by bro science now.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like, and it's funny because we even use muscle memory as a term in like playing music, where it's like you forget how to play a song, and then one day you're just like, oh, wait, I remember how to do that, and it's like your body just kind of remembers how. And it's crazy how it goes down to that level, like deeply ingrained for 2 months. That's a really long time.
Well, I think it even lasts longer.
It probably
Those are the
does.
ones that. So I've had someone who got really sick for like a year, and they used to work out all the time. And right now we're lifting, and I was like, dude, this is not the normal progression.
Yeah.
And this person has like part of their foot cut off.
Wow.
Right. And I was like, this is not the normal progression to see your hips this strong, this fast, all that stuff. If I had someone who never worked out in their life,
Oh God.
probably would never happen.
Good luck. Yeah.
It just shows you. Or like there was I think it was like the Nautilus, like Colorado experiment, where a bodybuilder guy got really sick, and like in 3 months he picked all his muscle back up.
Yeah. I remember that.
I can't remember the name of the exact experiment,
We're
but
gonna find that one again.
and I just think to myself, muscle memory is so big. That's why working out at such a young age is important.
Yeah. Because you think about it, and it's like, okay, if you work out at a young age, right, as you grow older, you're going to retain that memory of it. And in your kind of case, like you said, if that person had never worked out and then had a surgery or got sick or whatever, they would have to work super hard to get back to being like close to what they were as a person that never worked out. Right. And then to try and exceed that would be extremely hard. Right. But now the fact that they are someone who was previously trained, they can get back to the normal level and then exceed that. Right. At least close, if not the same as what they were before.
Yeah. And so I think this holds true too for like, I think this is why a lot of fitness people have an issue is they're like, well, I gained all this weight to show you that I can lose this weight real quickly. But if your body's used to being at this percentage fat for so long,
it's going to
let it happen a lot quicker down than someone who's never been in that body percent fat.
Interesting.
And so I think fats have memory as well.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that also. Yeah.
I should patent that theory.
Fat memory. Yeah.
I should. Study number 2, mindfulness and step tracking boosts motivation to exercise. Step tracking with mindfulness training delivered via a mobile app boosts people's desire to exercise. So in the study, they were just getting more desire. They feel better. And, at the end of the day, I think you have to be mindful with exercise, especially today.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like say, okay, I'm prioritizing this in my schedule, it's not going to happen.
I've also kind of heard this concept of like gamifying, like that, where it's like turning things into a game. And I kind of use it whenever I'm like cleaning or like doing stuff. It's like turning it into something where you kind of get like a reward for doing something else. I think that's what this kind of like plays on, right? Is like having an app wherever you like exceed something or you get a high score or whatever. Like it's just something that kind of motivates you slightly to do something.
Yeah.
And so I think kind of finding whatever works for you, right? To be
challenges and stuff like that.
That's why people like doing those. Yeah.
I used to be like very against challenges. No, my problem with challenges is if you get addicted to challenges.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And you're not doing it for the right.
Just health. Yeah.
Right. And also if you do the same challenge over and over, it's not really challenging you anymore.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you like what we're doing, you can find us on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe. Our website is strengthsolutionspodcast.com. Free blogs, free guides, and programs for purchase. Email us Strength Solutions Podcast. So if you want us to talk about a future fitness topic, hit us up. Social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, Strength Solutions Podcast. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Deuces.
See ya.